Clicking record. All right, let's go. All right, so welcome to the 15th episode of the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, melanated Black people here in America. I am your host, Brother Tamani M. Wandani out of Houston, Texas. I am the direct revolutionary product of one Cardinal and Bayou Chewy out of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, and the indirect revolutionary product of one Reverend Albert B. Clegg, African named Jeramogi Abebe Ajiman, the father of liberation theology and the founder of the Shrines of the Black Madonna. I am also the founder of the Black Gold Nation movement. My co-host, the National Director of Political Strategy and Implementation for the Black Gold Nation movement, and the chairman of LACE, Liberation Advocates for Community Empowerment, the intellectual gangster and corporate grassroots revolutionary from Shreveport, Louisiana, aka The Boot, Brother Craig B. Lee. How you doing this evening, Brother Craig?
I am doing absolutely well, and I bring you greetings from my wonderful home state that went red for Donald Trump.
I guess we can talk about that later. So before we get started this evening, let me tell you guys a little bit about the Black Gold Nation movement in case you do not know. Our ultimate goal is to put our people in the position by which we can own and or control the environment, because it is our contention, it is our understanding that when we allow other people to control our environment, we lose, period. When we allow other people to control any aspect of that environment, we lose in that aspect or in that arena. So since we are tired of losing, since we don't want to continue to make that mistake of allowing other people to control our space, our goal is to put our people in the position by which we can own and or control our environment, own or control that political space, so we can do our own thing as we see fit. We are here not just to inform or educate. We want to inform, educate, motivate, mobilize, organize, and build. Every single thing we do in this movement is about bringing our people together so we can find the right people so we can make some things happen. We understand that without Black people supporting this movement, without Black people functioning throughout the movement, and without Black people leading it with the ultimate goal of securing power, we are going to lose. So with that, I welcome all of you guys for being here. Thank you for being here. And if you are watching us live on Facebook, I thank you for that as well. Please feel free to start a watch party so we can get more Black eyes on this very powerful program, the Revolutionary Code. Tonight's show title is Presidential Politics and Building a Real Black Grassroots Political Party with a Holistic Empowerment Agenda. So before we get into it, let me first give a shout out to all those young people who got out to the polls and voted for the very first time. Congratulations to you. Much props to you. Voting is extremely important. Political power is the name of the game, and the fact that you guys got out and did that is a very, very, very good thing. So much props to you guys on that. All right, so we're gonna jump right into this thing, Brother Craig. Presidential politics. What don't we, the melanated Black population in this country, what don't we understand about presidential politics?
The number one thing that our people do not understand, and I did a test case on this today, which I already knew it, but I wanted to do a test case because one of my colleagues, Darrell Joy Walters, had a post up about eliminating the Electoral College. So this is the first and foremost thing that our people don't understand in terms of how this process of electing your top two corporate officials for this municipal, or should I say governmental corporation, because the municipal is at the local level, but this governmental corporation called the United States of America. And so on her post, she indicated that she wants the Electoral College gone. and everybody was just coming down the line saying, "Yeah, you're right, sister. Amen." So I asked everybody one question: Why?
Right.
Why? And of course, most of them had no knowledge about this, and that's why I sent you those links earlier today, so that you could see what the rationale was on this. And I challenge everybody who is listening tonight to do some research, because this was not a simple decision for the white slave owners who put this corporation together, this system together. And so they fought about it. And so you got to think now, all these cats are lawyers and, business executives who put this whole construct together. So if they were frustrated about seeing whether or not they would deal with the popular vote, and they couldn't do that for multiple reasons, because at the end of the day, they didn't feel that the majority of people, regular people, would, have enough intellect to actually decide on who is going to be the administrator, the chief of this corporation. And then it was a balance of power situation in various states. So they came up with a compromise of 1787. And that is what we are going under today. So most people don't even have a clue about how this works. The popular vote does factor in, as you are learning now, but it is based on the amount of electoral votes that your state is designated, and that is based on the amount of congressional representation that they have via the House of Representatives. For example, the state of Louisiana has 8 electoral votes. We have 8 electoral votes because we have 8 congressional United States congressmen. The state of Texas has 38, and you all have 38 congressmen. And that's all based on the population of your state. So one of the things that I hit on today in this particular post, I didn't tell them exactly in my first response what the Electoral College was. I gave them some demographic information on the top 10 states, most populated states, and I gave them information on the top 10, the least, the states with the least amount of population.
Right.
And if you look at that list, hell, California, Texas, New York, and Florida, those 4 states have more people than 25, almost 30 states combined.
That's right.
So when people talk about the popular vote, they really don't understand what that really means, because that really means that just a couple of states could control the balance of that. And so the whole country is set up around states, and citizens live in states, and those states then form a conglomerate. And so that's the number one thing that our people don't understand about presidential politics. And the most important thing is that the president ain't controlling a goddamn thing. It's about the Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. And as I close on this response, one of my colleagues here, he is 70 years old, and we had to have a shouting match tonight. I was trying to talk to him reasonably, but when I told, he made a post, and he said he didn't understand how in the hell is Donald Trump losing, but the Republicans have won 10 congressional seats that were controlled by the Democrats, and they've been able to maintain the Senate. And he was confused, so I called him, and I said, Brother Prentice, the reason that is because Donald Trump is a double agent for the Democratic Party, and the Republican Party understanding what his intent was, which was to implode the Republican Party from within, they allowed him to do his thing, unlike anybody in world history. And what happened? He mobilized their base.
Right.
And their base has now turned out what they wanted, which was the Congress. They didn't have a damn thing to do with the president, because it don't matter who's in the damn presidency if you got the Congress rolling with your overall agenda.
Right, right. And given our conversation during episode 6, both parties are two sides of the same coin, so it really don't matter. It's especially for us, it doesn't matter, because they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and it is not to move us forward. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay. So and of course we can't talk about the presidential politics without talking about the Electoral College, which you already covered. The last 2 times the Electoral College kicked in, we got George W. Bush and we got Donald Trump. So if the popular vote doesn't matter, then that means that the persons who run the Electoral College, they are the ones that are actually picking the president. Correct?
No.
Okay, well, help me understand that then.
That's the misnomer.
Okay.
The popular vote does matter. The popular vote triggers, like in most of these states, with the exception of about 2, whoever wins the popular vote wins the electoral.
Okay.
Whoever wins the popular vote wins the electoral vote. So let's go to California. Biden and Harris won the popular vote in California. Now, it used to be, depending on the percentage of what they won, one party would get so much, the majority of it, and then the other party would get a percentage. Most of the states have eliminated that. So now it's a winner-take-all situation. So if you are in California, mm-hmm. and the popular vote went to Biden and Harris got the electoral votes for the state of California.
Okay.
In Texas, that's why they were talking about let's flip it blue. Mm-hmm. Depending on the popular vote, that is what triggers the Electoral College situation. So most of what used to be percentages and things like that, where the Electoral College would come in and make the decisions on what percentage would do this, that's pretty much eliminated. Right now, it's just a formality. The electors, they're intermediaries for the congressional delegation in that particular state. So like Louisiana, we have 8 congressional delegates, representatives. Therefore, we have 8 electors. And so Trump won the popular vote here in the state by 18 percentage points over Biden, and therefore he received our 8 electoral votes. Mm-hmm. So it's a misnomer to say that the popular vote doesn't matter. It does matter, but if you don't win enough electoral votes, which is 270 for the win, then it doesn't matter that you win California or New York. That's the only reason that Hillary Clinton had more popular votes, because there are more people in the state of California and New York than damn near 20 states in the entire country.
So what triggers the Electoral College if a person can win the popular vote but still lose the election?
The popular vote in that state.
Oh, not nationwide.
Not nationwide.
Okay, I got you.
Not nationwide.
Got you.
See, each state. The Electoral College is based on equity for states. It's not just based on people.
Gotcha.
So you got the people for each state. They trigger where those electoral college votes will go. And so that's how a person can win the popular vote overall. And this is why people who are pushing the agenda, which, you know, if they come up with a better system, I ain't got no problem with it. But you got to be real careful about the total popular vote electing the president. Because again, you can have just 5 states.
Yeah.
5 states, and people can be in those states, and they can win the whole damn thing. And you got 45 other states without any equity in the game.
Right, because they got most of the people.
Yeah, at least with the Electoral College, there is an equitable disbursement based on the elected representatives for that particular state. So it's kind of like a fallacy when people keep on talking about, oh, she had 3 million more votes than Trump. This is a shame. Well, goddamn, she won California and she won New York.
Right. So she won the states with the most people.
California, goddamn, 40 million goddamn people.
Right. It's a country unto itself.
Okay. Texas got like 30 million goddamn people. Okay. So when you win those states, the way you win those states with the electors is by way of the popular vote. Had the Democrats won Texas, okay, with the popular vote, they would have got 38 electoral college votes.
Gotcha. Okay, so this next question, it might be kind of tough. It is most certainly involved, so bear with me while I go through all of it. Okay, so in one of the articles you sent me about the history of the Electoral College, the article states, quote, out of those drawn out debates, which is what you were talking about earlier, they were debating this thing, came a compromise based on the idea of electoral intermediaries.
Exactly.
These intermediaries wouldn't be picked by Congress or elected by the people. Instead, the states would each appoint independent electors who would cast the actual ballots for the presidency, end quote. Now, in episode 9 of the Revolutionary Code, we talked about the origins of the philosophy of capitalistic white supremacy and racism, being manifest destiny and the divine rights of kings. You stated that divine rights of kings has been expanded to not just being one king, but many kings, like a mafia, a group of kings, right? And that expanded idea from one king to many kings allowed them to go from a monarchy, one king society, to a plutocracy. Many kings. Okay, so below that plutocracy, and my questions follow this part. Below that plutocracy is micro pseudo plutocrats in every ethnic group of the country. The oligarchy or oligarchs, the wealthy people with without family connections. The aristocracy and the aristocrats, which is the managers of the system. Okay. Exactly. So from that quote about the electoral intermediaries, from that quote, are these intermediaries, these independent electors, are they the aristocrats or aristocracy, are they the managers of the system of white capitalistic supremacy and racism? I know that's a lot, but I'm trying to understand how it plays out.
Those electors are going to be between the oligarchs and the aristocrats. So the answer is yes, primarily the aristocrats, because their job is to be the managers of the system.
Brother, that is a lot of information. That is a lot of intertwining. Exactly. So just given that one question and all that history that came from previous episodes, there's no wonder we're confused. Exactly. That's a lot.
Exactly.
You know, we don't understand the history. We don't understand how they think. We don't understand the game. We don't understand the system. We don't understand the players. So we're always, you know, we're looking at one thing, a version of reality, when the real game is being played over here on a completely different level.
Exactly.
Right? So the next question is is it, and you kind of already answered it, but I'm gonna state it just for clarity. Is it safe to say that we do not understand presidential politics because we don't understand the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy and racism?
And the answer to that is absolutely yes. And when if you don't understand what drives a person, and what drives a person is some type of commitment to something.
Yes, sir.
If they're a murderer, that could be crazy as hell, like Mike Tyson. I mean, whatever. There's something that's going to drive you. Mm-hmm. And that's where your philosophy, your belief system comes in. If you don't comprehend that, hell, you already lost in the game. So my partner who I called tonight, he's 70. Mm-hmm. I'm about to be 53 in a couple of weeks. So he always called me young buck and all of this. And I had to check him. And the reason I had to check him is because he ain't never been behind the scenes in the game. Mm-hmm. So here's the question that I asked him, Brother Tamani. I said, Brother P, in war, what are the two most valuable tools that a side, whichever side it is, uses in their attempt to win the war?
You asking me?
He didn't know. But I'm going to ask you, yeah, because you've been in the military. But I asked him, he didn't know. So what are the two most important tools?
Well, I'm not sure if all this is all one now, but I'm going to say the intelligence, the data and the information, and propaganda, or the strength of your enemies and what drives them.
You already got it. So you got intel,
yeah,
and you hit propaganda. So what? Give me the word to sum up propaganda. What's a word that would sum up propaganda? One powerful word.
I don't know. Marketing. I don't know.
Deception.
Deception. Oh, well, yeah. Amen.
Propaganda
is deception.
Can be positive or negative.
Sure.
But if you're using propaganda in war,
yeah,
it's about what? Deception.
It's about most certainly deceiving your opponent into thinking whatever the hell. Yeah, most certainly.
Exactly.
Most certainly. And given what you just said about white supremacy and understanding what motivates other people, I just recently saw this because I post these motivational morning meditations and reflections in Basecamp, our online project management tool, every morning to get people to think about stuff. Nellie Fuller said, if you do not understand white supremacy, i.e. racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand is only going to confuse you. So if you don't understand what motivates them and why they do what they do, everything else, you're either going to be extremely confused or you're not going to have a full understanding of it.
Exactly.
And that goes in line with what you just said.
And so when he said that, he's initially starting with the philosophy.
Yep.
Because if you don't get the philosophy, it's not going to matter about all this other stuff. And so this is why people can't get, when I tell them that Donald Trump is working for the Democrats, they can't even get it. But they'll rather believe that this guy is just absolutely retarded and crazy. And I say, look, let me prove beyond the information that I give to you to show you what the Democrats have actually done. Let me prove to you just in basic, low-level logic, okay? Mm-hmm. And in 1991, and they used, what they used this year was right out the playbook from the state of Louisiana in 1991. In 1991, we actually did have a grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan running for governor.
That's right.
His name was David Duke.
David Duke, right.
Okay. Name was David Duke. This dude got over 40% of the vote in the state of Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
The only reason that he didn't win is because the white folks did not want to bankrupt the state of Louisiana in terms of being an embarrassment
Right.
by having this dude become the governor of the state.
Right.
So some of his good supporters went on and supported Governor Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a Republican. All you got to do is research this. This ain't nothing new. His objective was to become the worst of two evils in order to force people to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going to run as a Democrat. You had to get him to run as a Republican. And by the fact that he's a so-called phenomenal business person, billionaire, all of this, he was able to say things and do things as a non-politician that the politicians were not able to say. He made Jeb Bush look like a sissy. he made hardcore racists like Ted Cruz, senator from Texas, look like a choir boy.
Yep.
That was his role. But his role was to be the worst of the two evils in order for people to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Right.
It didn't work 4 years ago. So now, fast forward. What has he done in 4 years other than help any Democrat run for office? He hasn't done nothing.
I don't know. I don't know.
Every day it's some shit with him.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
Every day it's something with it. Tamani, if this dude had just dialed back 50%, just dial back 50%. Mm-hmm. You see how close the election is right now, right?
Right.
With him doing shit that David Duke can't even do. David Duke can't even do this crazy shit.
Right.
Okay? If he had dialed back just 50%, Tamani, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Right. Yeah.
Because he would have won with a landslide.
Yeah.
But you tell people that, and they can't believe it because they're not accustomed to being in war. They don't understand propaganda. They don't understand deception. They don't understand intel gathering. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. They don't understand the philosophy, the system in the game. So is it safe to say that presidential politics, is it a waste of time for melanated Black people? I know.
I'm not going to say it's a waste of time based on what we're working to do with the Black Gold Nation,
right?
Which is to create our own national grassroots political party.
Mm-hmm.
And if we, again, I gave you the numbers before. Let's say we build this thing up 10 million strong.
Yeah.
Just do the math. If
okay, wait. Before you get that, I'm coming to that part. So
okay.
Yeah. So is it or is it not? So you say it's not a waste of time?
It's not a waste. For us.
For us.
For our team.
Okay, I got
you. Negroes, it's a waste of time.
Gotcha. And it's a waste of time because they don't fully understand.
They don't have no clue, and they ain't got no goddamn team.
Dig it at all, and we're gonna get to that too, which goes which goes to the fallacy of what people are trying to do, because if you don't have no team, if you have no ground game, you putting the cart before the horse. But anyway, we're gonna get to that. Okay, so next question: the Green Party has been around for 19 years.
Yeah.
The Libertarian Party has been around for 48 years.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, I don't know if they've ever come close to winning any real national office.
Hell no.
So are these two parties irrelevant and also a waste of time for Black people?
The answer is yes. but they can play spoilers in key states. You see, because the Libertarian Party, if you look at the numbers in Michigan, the Libertarian Party plays spoiler to Donald Trump.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't just do it just to do it. They're already there. But if you talk to Libertarians, they are basically Republicans, right? So they got enough votes in Michigan, where if they weren't on that ballot, like in the state of Louisiana, the Green Party was not on our ballot.
Okay.
So you try to figure out what states you're willing to put money up to get on a particular ballot. Like the retard Kanye West was on our damn ballot with the damn Berkeley Party.
And people voted for him.
And people, I mean, word is he received 60,000 votes nationwide. That just shows the retardation of those individuals.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a waste of time for them because they're not trying to do anything at the local and the state level. The only time they come out, for the most part, is at the federal election time, every 4 years. Yeah, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything as it relates to the local and the state elections in most cities and states in America.
Which really does nothing for us because as you have so eloquently pointed out, at the end of the day, you're still gonna get choked out because you have no power to protect yourself from that reality taking place. Okay, cool. All right, so
and one last thing. And the last time that an independent entity made waves, you got to go back to Ross Perot.
Ross Perot, yeah.
And look at what the white folks look at what they said. The two parties. Never again, goddamn.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah,
we're not gonna let no independent come into our camp. We working together, partner.
Yeah.
Because Ross Perot caused some trouble.
Yes, he did.
For them, bro.
Yeah. So this is not one of my questions. So answer it really quickly because we got to get through the rest of them. I guess the only answer can be the philosophy system in the game. But why is it so difficult for a third party to be on the same level of the Republicans and the Democrats?
You would have to have a nationwide ground game at the local state level.
Right.
When they say all politics is local.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about on the national level, remember what I always ask. What's the question that I always ask in all of our strategy days?
Can you build a house? Can you build a house from the roof down?
Exactly. And what's the answer?
Hell to the no.
Exactly. So you can't talk about a roof, which is the federal national level, unless you have what?
A local ground game.
And the local ground game is what? The
Grassroots.
Local ground game is the city council, the municipal level.
Yeah, the local politics.
So look, at the local level, brother, they got Democratic committee. They got, regional Democrats.
Yeah.
Republican. I mean, brother, they got this thing very complex.
They got college Democrats. So it is most certainly intertwined and steeped in the culture of these two parties. Okay, I get it. Okay, all right. So let me say first of all,
and you got to have money in each goddamn state.
Got to have money, no doubt. Okay, so if you missed the beginning of the show and you don't know what we're doing or what the show is about, you're listening to the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth of how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, melanated Black people here in the U.S. Tonight's show is our 15th episode and is titled Presidential Politics and Building a Real Black Grassroots Political Party with a Holistic Empowerment Agenda. My name is Tamani Mwandani. I'm the founder of the Black Gold Nation Movement, and my co-host this evening is Brother Craig B. Lee. He's our National Director of the political strategy and implementation in the movement. So next question, and this is a perfect segue based from what you just said. The title is Presidential Politics and Building a Real Black Grassroots Political Party with a Holistic Empowerment Agenda. What do you mean by grassroots, and what do you mean by holistic?
Grassroots meaning the mass majority of people who are oppressed by this system. And of course, our focus is on the African descendant component of that, but it also represents those of different ethnic groups who are also oppressed, who are at the bottom of the barrel. These are your working poor, your so-called middle class, all of those particular individuals who, for the most part, our people being good people, they just don't understand and have a clue. So that's what I mean when I talk about the grassroots, right. Working poor, the poverty-stricken, even you could say, you can even throw in the homeless population, because one thing that the homeless population has, but they don't even know that they have the value, they got a goddamn vote.
Yeah, they can vote. Yeah. And holistic.
And so when we're talking about holistic, talking about those 6 pillars of empowerment, the spirituality, the culture, the education, the economics, the socioeconomics, and the politics, those things that are the foundation, the 6 pillars of empowerment, those things that need to be the foundation for any individual or group that is seeking to make things happen in this country and abroad for their people.
Okay, so if presidential politics is a waste of time or not as important as we've been led to believe.
Not for our crew.
Well, no. For everybody else. What sort of or level of politics should we be focused on and are concerned with?
Your local level, your local politics, city council, parish county commission, school board, locking down your judicial seat where you can, locking down your city judicial seat, locking down your executive branch. You can actually, in majority African-American territories,
yep,
you can actually control those cities and those counties and parishes, and those cities, counties, and parishes can actually become micro states and micro countries, because you don't need a president to do import-export relationships with Africa and the
That's
Caribbean.
Right.
If you have the infrastructure, like we have a port here in the city of Shreveport. So you can actually be the mayor of the city, acting as the damn governor and the president, if you got an understanding intellectually
right.
and business-wise of the game.
Right.
And as you now lock down deals at the local level, let's say with Africa or the Caribbean, guess who's gonna be giving you a call? Guess who's gonna be giving you a call?
What, the other African countries? What? Who?
No, the goddamn governor.
Oh, okay.
Why would the governor of the state give you a call when you done bypass the governor in order to bring this to your state? I mean, to your city.
I don't know. Taxes, jobs, how'd you do it?
Goddamn state.
Huh?
It's still in his goddamn state.
Oh, sure. Right.
They're gonna get a piece of the pie as well.
That's right. Yeah, and so they'll see that as a good move because it
the best. They want a piece of the pie.
That's right. That's right. And go ahead.
Now I'm about to say, see, the mayor has to be your sales agent for the city.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got your infrastructure in place with some committed soldiers who are on the city council, county commission, parish commission, school board, and in all of these key offices and on these boards, now guess what? You have a very powerful infrastructure, political infrastructure to now rock and roll with the mayor on. So now you're working as a team in order to lock business down for your particular city and your parish.
Right.
And the governor will love you for it because now they ain't got to go there and try to recruit in Africa.
Right.
Because all of this is based on what, Brother Money? Building relationships.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because you know they do it on their end. And you know, Brother Craig, that's a very, very, very powerful concept, idea, and strategy. Because you know, we just kicked off this 100 city tour. I started with Prairie View today, and I was just looking at what's there. A bunch of space, a bunch of land, people who seem to be lower middle class, if not, you know, poverty stricken. And I was thinking about when my son and I, we were touring different HBCUs in Texas. Went to TSU, went to Houston Tillerson. He eventually decided to go to school at Prairie View. But as you already know, most of these HBCUs, most of them exist in small geographic spaces that are predominantly Black, but ain't much going on there because nobody's paying attention to it. So,
exactly.
so our education has us focused on the presidency, which is way up here, which can do very little to affect your day-to-day life.
Exactly.
And we ignore the reality of being able to run our own country, if you will.
Exactly.
Because if you can control the local politics, that means that you are controlling every single aspect of governmental policy that affects your day-to-day life.
Come on.
So of the 6 pillars, we got spirituality, right culture, education. And we don't get those 3 from a revolutionary perspective, which is why we are always behind. Exactly. And if the community doesn't understand that we have to start everything you just said, when you were talking about, you know, having a strong team and people on city council, the mayor, all these departments, you need a group of people that are being prepped to make that their reality.
Yeah.
And you're not getting that from the public school system.
No.
You're not getting that from the local civic club or whatever.
No.
So that means that you have to have an organization
exactly.
that understands that is giving your people that training, that understanding, that education every week. So every Saturday, we got to be talking to both the adults, the young people who are either in college or just got out of college, and the middle schoolers who are coming after them, because we got to prepare a team to get ready to run for office, understand how these people ran, so you can run up next, and then you get the middle schoolers who are coming right behind you. You got to have a generational team of people who understand that we got to run this space, otherwise we're always going to catch hell.
Exactly.
And if you're not getting that from the if you're not getting that from the system that's supposed to be educating you, then you're never going to get it because it's not coming from anywhere else.
Exactly. And the only time that you even start to hear about politics is like every 4 years,
yep.
right?
Yep.
although it's around you every single second of your day.
Every day.
And so now you have somebody like myself who has dedicated his life to doing this for the benefit of his people.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to have these retarded ass conversations with people who don't want to listen.
Yep.
And who are getting their information, bogus information in many instances, from the goddamn television. And then they start to believe that they know what's going on, and they don't know what's going on because they don't understand that the news is part of what?
Propaganda.
The propaganda machine.
Yes, sir.
It's so unfortunate that that's the case, but we have to continue.
Yep.
Because this is the hand that we've been dealt.
Yep. And for me, at least, I guess the beauty in that continuance is that I believe that there is nothing we cannot do if we have the right people focused on doing it. So having the right people in place, shit, you can make anything happen. You just got to find those people.
You got to find those people, and in order, I got a wonderful call today from a sister, and she wanted to know who I was voting for on Saturday because we're having our NAACP election on Saturday. I know the NAACP is compromised, but I'm still a member of the NAACP. And so she said in her message, she said, Craig, we trust and value your opinion. And no matter how many of these retarded ass Negroes hate my gut in Shreveport, and a few of them hate my gut.
Yeah.
They don't hate me because of any criminal things that I do. They hate me because I'm the troublemaker. I cause trouble. Now everybody's trying to say the whole John Lewis thing, good trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm front page. I'll show you. It's documented. I'm the troublemaker. Not only for white folks, but for these Uncle Tom sellout ass Negroes. And I cause much trouble because I am willing to die for this. Because our ancestors died for something way more difficult in terms of having to go to work sun up to sundown, picking that goddamn cotton, that tobacco, that sugar cane, whatever the product was, they were having to labor for. And if you think I'm gonna sit up and complain because I have to bust a few retarded ass Negroes upside the head who are sellouts, I love it.
Right. Okay. All right. So based on your answer of the kind of politics we should be focused on, based on how important that is as it relates to, like you just said, your day-to-day life, everything that affects you in your day-to-day life is that local political apparatus. For people who are talking about us forming our own political party, which you also talked about earlier, from Puff Daddy on down, and people have been talking about that for a very long time. You also sent me a few articles about political parties and how they function, what they do when it comes to the presidency, have their own caucus. But these black people who are talking about forming their own party, they're not doing that, right? So in a nutshell, give us maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 things, major things that these black people who want to form their own political party, what are they missing? What are they not getting about how your own political party should look and function?
Yeah, they're missing being a part of the Black Gold Nation.
What? Well, amen.
Then I commit to that.
That's a given.
So I'm not gonna focus on they punk ass. I'm gonna tell you what they're missing by what we're about to do.
Okay, that'll work.
I've already created the framework for our political party, and I can make that announcement for the people. It was already started, and kind of like why I say you and I are twins in this endeavor that we're in, because I knew ultimately after we put the prototype in place in the city of Shreveport and with in our region, in our state, I knew that I needed to do something on a national level. And so you brought the national deal to the table. So the name of our political party is, and you got to come up. First off, your party got to be catchy.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it gotta be dark. You know, you can't just come up with some trash. You know, like the libertarian. That don't strike me. So we're talking about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The creator, I say, creator, what am I gonna call this party? And I say, well, what must I do for our people? Mm-hmm. And the creator said, you got to get them paid.
That's right. Come on.
And I said, God damn it, paid, God damn it. Political advocates for independent democracy.
That's right.
Because that's what we are. We're independent, okay? Mm-hmm. And we're advocates. We're political advocates. Why? Because everything in life is politics. Because what is politics? The science and art of leveraging personal or group agendas.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay?
Sir. Yep.
And so within that framework, that's the first thing, having a real marketable concept. And we're not no damn Democrats, we're not no Republicans, we're independents. So whoever's in the positions of power, it doesn't matter to us. Right. We're going to mobilize, organize our team and put our agenda together, right, our votes, our money, and we're going to interview candidates. Right. At the state, you know, for the state governor's races, the president and the vice president, and that's how we're going to get our leverage, our agenda. But we already have an infrastructure in place. So that's the first and foremost thing. We're going to set up our constitution, how we're going to roll, how we're going to do this, and we get to intertwining that within the Black Gold Nation, and we start taking a few seats. We got to win some local races, right, in order to create the reality that this is possible.
It is possible, right?
And that's what I'm doing here in the city of Shreveport.
So if PAID is the political party by which we're going to make this thing happen, what is LACE?
So LACE is our grassroots local organization,
yes, sir,
that serves almost like the Black Gold Nation, not as expansive, but it allows people who have never been involved in anything to get their feet wet as grassroots people.
Right.
It's a vetting ground, it's a proving ground, it's a vetting ground for them to be introduced to PAID and to the BGN. Because we don't want no stragglers.
Right.
We don't want no trash. So that's LACE is kind of like basic training, if you will.
Gotcha.
For grassroots people in Shreveport to get involved in the political and grassroots process.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so PAID is the political party. LACE is the grassroots apparatus to ensure that political party is moving the way we want it to move. And you said that politics is ensuring that your agenda, whatever it is getting checked off and taken care of.
Exactly.
Perfect segue to my last question. Black people pushing Black agendas. Of course, we've seen several. Every last one that I've ever seen, I think the oldest one I've seen goes back to the second draft of the Black Panther Party's 10-point program. All of these Black agendas are demanding things from white people. We demand this, we demand that, you owe us this, you owe us that. And although we applaud the efforts of our brother Ice Cube, because he is trying to do a very good thing, he is also off base, just like Black people who are trying to start Black parties, because they do not have a LACE. They don't have a mobilization organization apparatus, which you cannot have a political power, a political party that's supposed to represent the people if you haven't gotten the people on board yet.
Exactly.
So they're putting the cart before the horse.
And trying to build a roof
from the top down.
Roof down.
And unfortunately, again, we love and respect our brother, but it is not going to work. Not because it's a bad idea, not because his heart isn't in the right place, but because organizationally, realistically, systematically, it's wrong. You are putting out something that you are demanding, and you don't have the numbers, you don't have the votes, you don't have the dollars to make anybody do anything, which is why they always ignore your argument, literally. Regardless of the color of the candidate, they obviously got together and said, we're not going to talk about this reparations thing. Kamala Harris said, I am not going to do anything just for black people. No, that's a quote. But we think, because we don't understand politics, because we don't understand the system, because we don't understand the game, we think by saying we going to withhold our vote, we think that's going to work when we haven't even spoken to the we. Black people, we're not a monolith.
when they say that, white folks just laugh.
Yeah.
Because they know you're not representing an organization.
Brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
They know you're not representing an organization. And as you were just talking, I was thinking about, have you ever been to a casino?
Yep.
So let's say you walk into a casino. You walk into a casino. And let's say you want to play the crap table. And you're at the crap table and it's a couple of slots open for you to stand. And you're standing and you see all of these goddamn chips. People got chips and chips all on the table. And you ready you want to play. But you ain't got no goddamn chip.
Right.
Can't you play in the game?
How you gonna play?
Can you play the game without chips?
No, sir. You can watch.
Now, in order to get some goddamn chips, you gotta have some what?
Money.
But if you ain't got no goddamn money,
you ain't got no chips.
You can't get no chips.
You can't play the game.
That means you can't play the game.
But we think that we think that we can say to those that give out the chips, we think we can say, but you owe us these chips.
No, sir.
And because you owe us, and we can prove you owe us, you should give us. And it is that, unfortunately, it is that. I hate using this word, but it fits. That ignorant way of thinking, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. We just don't understand, because we don't understand how this thing works. We think that we're going to get something because we can prove something, and it don't work that way, because they don't give a damn about what you can prove.
But remember, they're not thinking. They what? They believe.
Oh, and
they're not thinking. They believe.
Yeah.
That they are owed. So because they're not thinking, there is no intellectual process of analyzing all of the things that they have to consider.
I'm glad you said that, and this will be my last question, and we're gonna close it out because it's 10:01. Give me your definition of critical thinking.
Thinking and critical. So let's deal with thinking first. Thinking is an intellectual exercise that you do within your mind and your spirit, weighing pros and cons that now prepare you to make a solid decision. You're weighing pros and cons in order for you to make a decision. So when we talk about a choice is directly connected to the concept of thinking. because you have to do this intellectual exercise to weigh pros and cons based on options. So critical thinking is a higher level of that process.
Right.
And to get into critical thinking, that means you have to be exposed to a lot of things that the average person would never see.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're never exposed, then your mind doesn't know how to make the necessary adjustments
Yep.
when confronted with a situation. So critical thinking is a higher form, higher level of the intellectual process of evaluating pros and cons, this intellectual exercise of evaluating pros and cons of various options, so that you can make an effective decision, preferably for the benefit of whatever you're trying to accomplish.
Right. Yeah. Amen. We got to, that also has to be something that,
You got to be taught to do that.
yeah. And I'm saying, along with that political education, the reality of what we must do, that has to be added too. We have to expose our people to different ideas, concepts, ideologies. And I think that was this morning, we were talking about Maurice Bishop in Grenada. There's so many people who have come before us, done some phenomenal things, and were snuffed out by this American government, which also is proof that trying to separate from white people with some legal papers is a joke, because you can't, like you said, you can't run from white people.
You can't run from, and let me make this last point.
And wherever you go, there they are.
As it relates to thinking and critical thinking, I always recommend, beyond reading, we do movies, we do documentaries, of course, but the other two things that I recommend is that people start to play thinking games, mm-hmm. dominoes and chess.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a dominologist. I haven't even learned how to play the board game
yep.
of chess, but I play human chess every day, all day. Mm-hmm. And here's something that's interesting. I know people who play the board game chess, but they don't know how to play human chess.
Right.
They don't know how to take what they do in the board game chess and make it applicable to their physical life to play the human chess game. Mm-hmm. And so if people who are very good chess players, I want you to follow me now. Mm-hmm. If people who are very good chess players don't even know how to do that,
yeah.
What about people who don't play chess or domino?
They don't have a snowball's chance in hell.
They ain't got a snowball's chance in hell in maneuver.
Right. Yeah. Amen. All right. It is 10:05. That brings our show to a close. Before we close it out completely, I see Brother Naru has turned his camera on, so he probably has a question.
You already know, bro, what it is. Hey, I'm not gonna let all that intellect go to waste without me asking some questions, man.
There you go,
all right,
brother.
All right, brother. That is why Brother Craig is here. Come on.
So Brother Craig, I would have to tell you, we just elected one of our good sisters out here in the District 3 and City Council. We were able to do that because in our out here in Oakland, you can only vote in your city council district area. So I was wondering, out there in Louisiana, is it the same way? Because some areas are not like that. Some areas, everybody can still vote for whoever.
That's what they call at large.
Right. So that's one thing I just wanted to say. So I wanted to know if in your districts in Louisiana, have you guys been able to identify and seat anybody in the city councils through LACE or any other organizations out there in Louisiana?
That's a great question. Our races are coming up in 2022. And so we have 7 city council seats total. I'll be running in District B. All right. And we got to identify 3 other LACE members to run in District A, District G, District F, and we'll probably try to put somebody in the District E, because Shreveport is roughly 60-65% Black.
How long has LACE been in existence?
We just started at the end of last year. We selected our officers this year, and I'm the chairperson.
Oh, y'all just getting it rolling, man.
Yeah, but I'll say this, Naru. It's been a 25-year process based on the work that I've been doing with my other organizations. This is the first time that I felt comfortable now, and I saw enough people ready to learn how to start doing this work and starting to talk about politics. This is the first time. I mean, I've been here 25 years, and I know you are a little bit older than me, and you've been around Oakland, and I'm quite sure this will probably be the same out there. Since the Black Panther Party, this is the most electricity that I've seen around politics in the country. Trump brought him out. Exactly, Brother Ben.
No question. Hey, thank you, Brad. I just wanted to know about the political structure out there, and good luck. I hope y'all get all the seats out there.
Hey, Naru, let me ask you, how many city council personnel do y'all have there in Oakland?
We have 7 districts.
Y'all have 7?
7 districts, yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're just like y'all.
Mm-hmm.
How many people? What's the population of Oakland?
Now that one I don't know right now, but it ain't what it used to be with our folks. I can tell you that.
Y'all under a million though, right?
Yeah, we're in a million.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all set up. Y'all got 7 districts. We got 7. How many of them are majority African American?
Literally, it's so spread out here now. I would probably say 2 or 3. 2 or 3, but it's getting so gentrified out here now that it's really hard to say that. We've lost a lot of our people, but we got some of the liberal white folks, quote unquote, out here who vote for us. So it's all good.
But you got the chips you got a chip in the game now with that sister getting in there.
Oh yeah, she's about it too.
Okay, good go.
Mm-hmm.
Good go.
Thank you, bro.
Cool. All right. So if no one else has a question for Brother Ken, said Trump brought them all out. That's right.
I mean, you play if you want to. The creator used Trump to ignite this whole situation.
Yeah.
And for that, his ass should win the highest NAACP award, goddamn. I'm the greatest president in American history.
I tell people they need to not worry so much about Trump, the individual, the man, but those millions of supporters that are supporting him and his BS. So, all right, brother. With that, you have any closing remarks before we?
Well, based on what you just got through saying, you're absolutely correct. Trump was a scapegoat to run. The Democrats were more focused on the goddamn president, and the Republicans were focused on what controls the money, the Congress. Yep. They picked up 10 Democratic seats, and they were able to maintain the Congress and the Senate, and they forced Donald Trump while he was in there doing his double agent routine to do what? Put all those damn
all them judges, man.
So doing all of that to get those senile ass Joe Biden in office, and now I'm glad, because now for 4 years you're gonna see what the Democratic Party is gonna be all about. It's gonna be a replay of 2008 to 2016 Obama, and if you ain't about this game of leveraging political power, economic power, if you ain't about empowering yourself, the new world order is here, baby.
Yeah.
You got 3 years
yes, sir.
to get you a couple $1 billion, some land, some cryptocurrency, and some kind of weapon.
Yep.
So you better be about that life.
Yeah, and it's like you say, it's here, and they rolling. so you get out and lay down. But yeah, it's happening. All right, so with that, as always, we want to thank everybody for being a part of the show this evening. Please share this with 5, 10, 15, 20 people that look like you, melanated Black people, so we can get more people involved with the movement and what we're trying to do for our people nationwide. If you want more information about the Black Gold Nation movement, you can always email me at theblackgoldnation@gmail.com, theblackgoldnation@gmail.com. Our website to learn more about the activities and the events that we're having. Our events website is blackgold-wakandarising.com, blackgold-wakandarising.com. And if you want to watch this episode as well as the previous 14 episodes, I talked about episode 6 and episode 9, and all of our episodes are connected, but sometimes we're able to build upon them based on what we're talking about. And again, we're trying to not just educate and or entertain, we're trying to get you to do something. So if you want to understand what I was talking about when I said episode 6 and episode 9, blackgoldmedia.net. That's where you can watch the previous 14 episodes, as well as the 12 movie reviews we've done so far. So again, we're not just here to inform and educate. We're trying to get you to do something. We want to educate, we want to inform, we want to mobilize, we want to organize, because if we don't do that, then all of that local stuff that Brother Craig was talking about, we will never get to that point, because you won't know what that point looks like. We will never get to the point by which we can have control of the things that affect our daily lives, because you won't know how to organize to get to that point. I mentioned that I hit my first city, Prairie View, Texas, of the 100 city tour, which means I have 99 other cities to go to. I am going to these 99 other cities to find Black people who want to understand how this whole thing works, so that we'll stop losing, so that we can understand how to organize, how to mobilize politically, so that we can have some power to control our immediate environment. And if we don't do that, then please understand we will become a permanent underclass, and it's going to be checkmate for us. So it's a must do. So we are having this 100 city tour because we're looking for 100 Black people who want to lead a team of Black people where they live, to better understand the philosophy, the system, and the game of capitalistic white supremacy and racism. Because if you do not understand that, anything else you think you understand, you're just going to be confused.
Exactly.
And again, that's why we keep losing. This coming Saturday movie review, we're going to discuss a panel discussion that took place in 1972.
48 years.
And how most of the people who were, you can take the position, perspective, arguments of most of those people and insert today's Black people in those spaces, they'll be saying the same thing. And that's why we haven't gone anywhere. Yep. And the people who were talking differently are what we're saying here. It's not that all of the ideas are necessarily completely new. It's that we have taken those good ideas, those common sense ideas, and plugged the holes, filled in the gaps of what they did not have to complete and develop a total solution. And we're trying to find Black people who want to be a part of a total and complete solution, which is why we're here. So with that, as always, thank you guys for being a part of the show. I sincerely appreciate it. Please share this with other Black people, because again, we're not going to make it if we don't have some semblance, some level of unity and organization, so that we can mobilize, organize, and do. And always remember two things. Always remember two things. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely, always, always, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation and salvation of Black people. Because if our people don't make it, then we're not going to make it, because we'll just be out there by ourselves, flapping in the wind, naked and powerless. So with that, thank you guys very much. God bless you. And I'll see you guys next week for the next show.
Peace.
Peace, peace, peace.